I have a 7-year-old. She was in public school for pre-K, kindergarten, and just a little bit of first before I pulled her out. Right when I pulled her out, she had taken a statewide mandatory dyslexia screener, and she failed it by over half. But the school was not concerned, and I was very concerned. And so whenever I pulled her out, I thought she has to have dyslexia if she failed the screener that bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then ended up she does not. So that was a whole thing. But that was kind of the big issue, was that she like epically bombed the first grade New Mexico statewide mandatory dyslexia screener.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us why you think she failed the screener.
Now that I know why she failed the screener, I can definitely confidently tell you why. Because she is twice exceptional. She is autistic, and it is like she masked. It's almost impossible to assess her. So she just doesn't care to show you what she knows. And so like, it's incredible what we've gotten compared to her faking whatever she was faking to where we're at now, which is her not gladly showing you what she knows, but definitely more willing.
Yeah, she's reading, she's, writing, she's drawing, she's
independently as well. Like that's another thing. Like I sent you a little picture. What, like, we've been doing clay work at the end of our session, because like it seems like the art therapy that Miss Linda has been able to do has really thrown her into like another category of being like self-aware in so many realms, and so in and out of academic, and has helped her like outside of academics, like on our daily day. Howdy rides a pony, and the pony's really good, but Howdy would not ride him by herself. She wanted me to lead him, which is not a big deal. But she went from just, it's hard to explain if you guys don't ride horses, but she went from just like not understanding the concept of you're in control or this and that. And we've started, and I don't know if it's just, I'm saying it comes together, because she started the art and she started understanding like boundaries and more stuff completely outside of academic things, which for me and my child is important, because her life is highly affected by her autism and things like that. So like, and we have had services that did make zero progress on my daughter. Linda is the first one that her grandparents, my husband, people that don't know Howdy will, I've noticed a big jump in her just awareness in general, which is
that's
just
so
cool.
Awesome. Yeah, the clay work especially, huh? It's like, well, when I studied art, my first graduate experience was studying art psychotherapy. So I learned that when we make anything, like if it's a drawing or sculpture, it's a projection of self. It's like a little mirror of ourself. Everything's a self-portrait that we do, right? And so that form, we're working with Amanda's daughter on closing forms. So the first most easy way to close a container is to invert it. You just take a bowl and put it over. Oh, now it's closed. Lids are harder. We'll get to lids later. But when we do these things, when we make these forms in clay, it has a deep effect. When you experience closed container, then you experience a feeling of boundary in yourself. So
confidence is something that she has shown, sure of herself, very confident, where before very not confident. All like in general, she's happy to do things now. Like it, she really has kind of like opened Pandora's box with my little complex child.
That's so great. So Katie, you've been such a good listener. So tell us what you were looking for when you reached out.
Well, I've been homeschooling for 11 years now. I have 6 kids, and I have successfully taught 4 to read. And I was really, really struggling with my 4th child. I could not get her we would make a little bit of progress, and then we felt very stuck in where we were. She was at grade level with her vocabulary and her behavior, but her reading skills were incredibly low. And we got to a point where my 5th child started passing. He actually passed her up in his reading. He's a year younger than her. And every year I was diligent about researching curriculum and trying to find ways, new and different ways to, introduce reading to her and help her. And over the years, I just felt like I didn't know what I was doing and nothing was really working. We weren't making any progress. And we were really, really stuck. And I felt like if I could just find somebody who would teach me the skills that I need to get her to read and to help her, I knew that I could do it, but I just couldn't find the resources. And so one day I was sitting reading my email, and I got put on Linda's email list, and she wrote a blog post about a little girl who, wasn't reading at grade level. And I resonated so much with the post. And so I saw the free assessment, and I immediately reached out and wanted to get an assessment for my daughter. And she also had some like dyslexia markers. She was inverting letters, and we just really struggled. She could read words individually, but then once we got like a paragraph or multiple sentences on a page, she would get lost and she just could not power through. And so after the assessment with Linda, I realized that this would be a really good fit. And I felt like, especially with the offer to teach me to do what you do, that was selling for me.
I especially love that because when I had this idea that I could teach parents to do what I do, and I knew I could do it in like 6 weeks.
Oh yeah.
And that they could get up and running. And I figured, okay, I'll tell them, like, I'll give them a certain amount of months where they can always touch base with me if they have questions and things like that. But I just was like, this ain't rocket science. And my colleagues were mad at me.
Really?
Some of my colleagues, well, not mad, but some of them were like, you better not do that because you're going to put yourself out of business. And I said, no.
Yes, it's anything.
No way.
There are always going to be kids who need tutored, right? I mean, when you learn these techniques in the class, did you feel like, oh, I can do this?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Even with mine, who like as a baby, as an infant, as a toddler, if I cracked a book and read to her, she exited the room. She did not let me do it. So like, I mean, even for me, where I have a very unconventional child, I'm able to do it. And that's crazy. Crazy talk. Yeah. and confidently. And I also understand you have taught me to understand like limits as well. Like just because I want something doesn't mean that it's going to get done today. And that just taught me how to be a better teacher in general too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then I can do like what you're saying when I talk about math, like you're like, you can do math too. Like just figure out, I mean, all the skills that you have taught me and Katie, now that me and Katie are friends, we're mind blown by the amount of knowledge and how easy it was to access.
Some of the deepest work that we did was around soft skills. Like it wasn't so much that the booklet or the workbook, I mean, it was all kind of out there and you could both understand it. But then when there were conflicts that you might have with the child over like doing the lesson or, reading refusal, things like that. And we had to work through those. And I was like, oh, this is the biggest deal is the soft skills,
Yeah. What my daughter was lacking was not her reading ability and all this stuff, which I thought it was the soft skills that I have had people, occupational therapist, whatever, years trying to fix this child or whatever you want to call it with zero progress. I mean, I have IEP proof data that she was in occupational therapy for 3 years and had zero progress. Wow. So like the soft skills in the end, what was missing out of our entire being in and out of school. But how am I supposed to fix it if I don't know what to do?
I was floored by Linda's observation I felt like I changed just as much as my daughter changed in how we were functioning together, because after years of just banging our heads against the wall, trying to find a way to get her to read when I knew she could do it, we just had developed a very dysfunctional, I guess, reading relationship, honestly, where she didn't like to read. She didn't like to do lessons with me. I had a very hard time getting her to sit down, and she was the one that required the most of my attention in my homeschool. She needed the one-on-one, very focused work. And what Linda observed was that we both just operate at different paces in life. I'm very much, I have a million things on my plate, and so I move forward very quickly, and I need to go from one thing to the next, and I kind of check everything off as I go because I have to get on to the next thing. Whereas my daughter did not operate like that. She needed a lot of repetition. She needed more fun activities. And especially, she needed time to process, and I was not giving her that time. Linda gave her so much patience, so much grace. I mean, just pointed out within, I think it was like the second lesson that you pointed out, just the behavior between the two of us and how my daughter had become so dependent on looking to me for the answers because she knew I was expecting it immediately. And she wasn't processing that fast, and she wasn't able to give an answer as quickly as I wanted her to. So we kind of got in this codependent relationship where she would be angry and frustrated, and then she'd look to me for the answers, and I would give it to her because I needed to move on to the next thing. Yeah. And so I had to learn soft skills about her and like learn for myself how to be softer and more gracious and gentler with how quickly we moved forward and not feeling like I have to check the boxes. So that was huge. That was, I mean, I really think I changed as much as you helped my child improve. I changed in how I operated in my relationship, and it really repaired our relationship. So now we're able to have these lessons, and it took probably the 6 weeks for her to be able to sit through a full hour of hard work. You know, now I feel like we're in a really good place. I've allowed her to do more of the leading in the learning, just being more conscious about when she needs to stop. And those were skills that I didn't have before.
100%. Everything Katie said, 100% on my part too.
Yeah. It's big.
Yeah, it's huge. For me and mine, because mine we just walked this little path that's so unique. It is crazy. Like, I feel like she's finally where she needs to be for her age, not so much academically, which is crazy because that's the whole point of this whole thing was academics. Yeah. But for us, her life outside of the academics has really blossomed because of the change in mindset, for sure. The resources that Linda has provided for me has when I say completely changed like our life, like crazy. Can I say that too? Because I'm like, whoa.
Good. That's so true. Yeah.